So this week we have a pretty controversial topic to talk about, and that's aim assist in video games. So I want to just put all my opinions out there. This is an opinion video. It's okay to have an opinion that differs from me. If you want to have a debate about it or just want to calmly talk about it, make sure you comment down below or join me at twitch.tv/Crypt6, where I'm always down to talk about something like this. I love discussion. I love it all. So I'm your coach, Crypt6. Let's get started on aim assist. So to start this out, I just want to say I'm not just basing my opinions off anything. I play both controller and mouse and keyboard. This is an ultralight phantom, and this is just a default PS4 controller. I use both of these at least for 1 hour every day to keep my skills up on both. I do not currently use paddles on the back of my PS4 controller, but I do have a strike pack. I have used it before. It is a great tool for controller players. I recommend them. But I do use both, so my opinions aren't coming from nowhere, just so you guys know. So to begin, the gameplay that you guys are seeing in the background, that is my first game on either or of whatever I'm using. The first gameplay you'll see will be on controller, the second is on mouse and keyboard. So both of them are my first games. I haven't warmed up at all, so do not judge me. I'm looking at you, don't judge me. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the main differences between mouse and keyboard. Obviously, one is you're aiming with your whole arm and throwing and have a good grip on your mouse, and you can aim with your whole arm, move it across whatever area you have, and you can adjust your sensitivity likewise. Controller, you can adjust your sensitivity, but you are aiming with two thumbsticks. So rather than using your whole arm, you're just using your thumb. And it's a much less precise movement, so I am of the belief that aim assist is a needed and necessary thing in video games. I am also of the belief that mouse and keyboard is a way above and beyond controller. Mouse and keyboard is superior in almost every way. With mouse and keyboard, you can flick around a lot more, you can be much more precise with your micro adjustments, stuff like that, and you can track better, you can point and shoot, click better, you can do almost everything better and to a higher level. So I personally prefer mouse and keyboard if I'm trying to play on a competitive level. But if I'm just hanging out and I want to do some console things, I will pull out my controller, I'll have fun with it, I'll see what I can do with that. And I'm good at both. I perform almost the exact same when I use both my mouse and keyboard and my controller. I perform almost exactly the same, and I believe that is the perfect. But because my main game is Titanfall, I believe that perfectly balancing it so that a few hours on mouse and keyboard and a few hours on controller yield the same results. So that's the ideal level of aim assist. Now, I do believe there is a threshold that can be crossed with aim assist. It can be too powerful, or it can just not be powerful enough. My personal preference is to have it scale to the movement of whatever game you're playing. So for a game like Titanfall 2, which is my main game, for example, I believe that the aim should be very strong. And in the game, it is very strong. Sometimes your crosshair magnetizes to a random grunt nearby, and you have to fight it off a little bit. But it's perfect for when you're trying to track a super fast moving target that's moving at 50 kilometers plus per hour. It's perfect amount of aim assist. And I believe it's fair and balanced because I have played controller and mouse and keyboard both on PC, and I've yielded the same results, done the same exact thing in both preferences, and it ends up very well. So I think Titanfall 2 has the perfect amount of aim assist, but there is a threshold that can still be crossed in other video games. For games like Halo or Fortnite, the aim assist should be lower than what it currently is. I haven't really played much Fortnite, but I have paid attention to what's going on in the community, and I do agree with everybody. The aim assist in that game is just too strong. There's no crazy movement in Fortnite. All you can do is build, get behind cover, and run around. It's a sprint. So I believe the aim assist in that game should be dialed back a ton. Not too much so that controller players are at a severe disadvantage to mouse and keyboard players, but enough that they're at least even. Not that controller players get a huge advantage, because that does not make any sense. No matter what, I still believe mouse and keyboard will have the advantage with flicks and tracking and all that stuff, but the aim assist in Fortnite is too strong. Now with Halo, the issue with Halo was the aim assist was magnetizing your crosshair to their heads instead of to their chest. Aim assist should always be aiming towards the chest of the enemy. It should never be towards the head. It should always be towards the head, and you have to have that little bit of extra skill to actually aim at an enemy's head. That is my belief about the levels of aim assist and where your aim assist should actually go to. Now, I know not everybody shares my opinions about aim assist. Some people, some mouse and keyboard, PC gods just think aim assist should just be deleted across the board. But if you do that, then you're putting controller players at even more of a disadvantage to mouse and keyboard players when they're already disadvantaged. Trust me, aim assist is needed to make the gaming experience even. And also, when it comes to crossplay and things like that, I do think that controller players should, for the most part, be against controller players and mouse and keyboard versus mouse and keyboard. The times that it crosses over, that's when you need the right amount of aim assist just to make it perfectly balanced for each team. That way, nobody's getting upset, nobody's having any issues or anything. So, just to recap my thoughts in total, aim assist is a good thing when it is done right. If it overbalanced, either too strong or not strong enough, it is bad for the experience of controller and mouse and keyboard players. Mouse and keyboard players will usually have the advantage, but aim assist is trying to bring that skill level, that skill gap, just a little bit more even. And good aim assist puts mouse and keyboard right above controller players in abilities and skill cap. But the skill cap for mouse and keyboard will and always should be just a little bit higher than controller players. But that's my thoughts. It should scale with movement. It should be to the chest. But those are my overall thoughts about aim assist. If you guys have your own thoughts, please comment them down below. Discuss them with me on Twitter. Come into my Twitch chat at twitch.tv/Crypt6. I will love to discuss anything about this. But thank you for watching. That's my opinion. I will see you guys next time.